Today, we remember former Virginia Beach Mayor Meyera Oberndorf. The longtime mayor died this morning after a battle with Alzheimer's disease.
She was a mother to not only 2 daughters, but really to the whole city of Virginia Beach. Oberndorf was the first woman to hold the office of mayor in Virginia Beach. She helped the city become the largest in the state in terms of population.
But Andy Fox tells us about the lady who, at just under 5 feet, broke many barriers and won many hearts. And Andy joins us live now in our newsroom. Andy, we both knew her, and what a great loss.
I was saying earlier, she always, whenever I went to interview her, she always said, "Hello there, kiddo."
Yeah.
She would always say that. Her daughters, Marcy and Heidi, were with their mother in a Charlotte nursing home when she died. Meyera Oberndorf is arguably the most influential political leader in Virginia Beach history. For many years, former Mayor Meyera Oberndorf was Virginia Beach's loudest, most effective, most believable cheerleader. She began her rise as a library board member to Virginia Beach City Council for 12 years, became the city's first elected mayor, and became the longest-serving mayor for 20 years. November 5th, 2008 was her saddest political moment when she lost a hard-fought election campaign for mayor against Will Sessoms. It hurt her, it stung, yet there she was on election night, showing grace, class, dignity.
I have spoken to Will directly just a little while ago and very sincerely congratulated him.
And Sessoms realized how much Oberndorf still had to offer.
I also made clear that I wanted her to stay involved, and she's willing to stay involved. So I look forward to continue working with Meyera in the upcoming year.
In April 2009, Meyera, the gentle lady who served on the library board, was honored by having a city library named for her. In October 2012, her beloved husband Roger passed away. They had an amazing love for each other and were always together. He was often referred to as Mr. Mayor. But it was in July 2013 when we visited her, in the throes of Alzheimer's, our old friend, still giving back.
It makes sense to me.
Promoting Project Lifesaver, a radio signal bracelet, tracking device in case those who are forgetful wander off. They can quickly be found. On that day, we asked Meyera what she does to help others with Alzheimer's and how she lives with it.
A group of people who were married to someone who had this problem. And I tried and tried, to see if I could overcome this problem. And I wanted to see how other people were handling.
That's Meyera. Always helping, always learning, always giving. She was 74, a trailblazer, and Virginia Beach's dearest friend. Yeah, did you hear her there? I try to figure out how to live with this Alzheimer's. She is a full breast cancer survivor, by the way. Meyera Oberndorf was a political force many years ago, not yet realized. She was once told by the powers to be, who were all men, smoking cigars in the back room of a steakhouse, that she wasn't quite right the candidate to run. Her longtime friend Drew Langford remembers what happened next.
Problem you're going to have getting on city council is, 1, you're a woman, 2, you're Jewish, and 3, you're too short. And so this is just not your time. And she goes, well, I really do appreciate that advice. I'm going to take that to heart. And then she goes, I walked out and I rode down to the municipal center and I filed my papers to run. And she said, the nice thing is now, none of them are around, and I am, and I'm still too short, I'm still Jewish, and I'm still a woman.
How about that? Now, we don't remember any of those men who were smoking cigars in the restaurant that day, but we will never forget that small woman who happened to be Jewish, who simply changed Virginia Beach. She was an old friend, and I will tell you, our hearts grieve today, and just a remarkable woman who, like we said, changed Virginia Beach.
Absolutely. It was kind of an unsaid, but you could really just feel the moment when they said she had passed, just everyone kind of, It had
been a long struggle, as those who have Alzheimer's and families of those who have Alzheimer's know. She was strong and vibrant to the end. I was with her when she was doing the bracelets, and she's dealing with it. And what is she doing? She's trying to be the face of the program.
And help other people.
look, it's happening to me. I'm trying to live with this too. I know what you're going through. Wear the bracelet. She's still giving back.
Absolutely.
And people still loved her. You know, I can even remember, even though they didn't vote her into office that final time, when you would go, I went into a grocery store one day in Virginia Beach, and I thought, why in the world? What is going on? People weren't moving.
She was
there, and people just gravitated toward her all the time.
Hey,
Everyone just loved her.
Politics is about money.
Yeah.
And the incumbent always has all the money,
Yeah.
right? She never had money.
Well,
she had the least amount of money because she didn't need it because everybody already knew who she was.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things too when you talk about politics is the fact that sometimes, you know, when you become a politician, it can be so divisive. And yet we've heard from people on all sides today just sharing how much they loved her and how much they thought of her in a positive way.
I'm reminded, and Nicole has a picture of her with
Yeah.
the mayor. Everyone has a picture with the mayor, and she is missed today. Never will be forgotten. We don't remember those men in that back,
No, we don't.
that
No, we
steakhouse
don't.
room smoking the cigars, but we remember Meyera Oberndorf.
And we're going to
Thank
remember
you,
her some more
Andy.
right now, Andy.
Yeah.
Thanks. Condolences from state and local officials have been pouring into our newsroom all day long.
Yeah, as I said, both sides. Senator Tim Kaine says, I am deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Meyera Oberndorf. Meyera and I served as Virginia mayors at the same time, and she was exceptional in so many ways. In addition to being the longest serving mayor of Virginia Beach, she was the first woman to hold that office and was beloved by the entire Virginia Beach community.
Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam said, in part, Pam and I are saddened to hear the passing of Mayor Oberndorf, who was a genuine trailblazer for women in politics and the epitome of a true public servant.
And Congressman Bobby Scott says during her tenure, she was an extremely effective advocate and unifying force for the city. I will greatly miss her friendship and her counsel on issues impacting the Hampton Roads region. My thoughts and prayers are with Oberndorf family, the citizens of Virginia Beach, and her many longtime friends and supporters.
And tributes from you are also coming in on social media since the news of the mayor's passing broke.
Yeah, there's a common theme, as we mentioned, to countless people. She was more than just a mayor. She was a pioneer, a mentor, and a mother figure. 10 on your side's Nicole Livas knew her personally and has been reading posts on social media all day. Joining us now with what people are sharing, Nicole.
Anita and Stephanie, my late grandfather, John Perry, served with Meyera on Virginia Beach City Council. They were colleagues, but also friends, and actually both of them pioneers when it came to the city. I pulled these pictures from back in the day. I grew up with her daughter, Heidi. We were classmates at Kempsville schools. And here are a few tributes I found on Twitter and Facebook. Max wrote, quote, "She was Mrs. Oberndorf to most of us, another Kempsville mom. Even though we knew she was mayor for many of these years, she never made us feel that way." Christy tweeted, "I had the good fortune of working with Mrs. Oberndorf for a time with the CVB. She was a kind woman with an amazing heart." Rachel posted, "I remember being so very small and holding her hand at the menorah lighting at Mount Trashmore." Elle wrote, "Meyera was a friend and member of our Thunderbird Club. She and Roger are greatly missed." Jasper posted, "I remember meeting her through a Girl Scout function 10 plus years ago. She was a sweet lady. She will be missed." Our web team is busy updating WAVY.com with the latest on Meyera Oberndorf's passing. Just go to the homepage. You'll find our coverage, including her obituary. You can also leave your condolences there on WAVY.com. Stephanie and Anita.
Nicole, thank you. A memorial service is scheduled for Monday morning, 11 o'clock at the Virginia Beach Convention Center. For more information, go to WAVY.com.
Tonight, 10 on your side joins the rest of Hampton Roads with remembering Meyera Oberndorf. The longtime mayor of Virginia Beach died this morning after a battle with Alzheimer's disease.
She helped the city become the largest in the state in terms of population, but that was just one of her many achievements. We have live team coverage of the legacy she left behind.
10 on your side's Jason Marks is live at the City Library that was named for her a few years ago, but we start with Andy Fox with reactions still coming in. Andy?
Yeah, imagine that, a library named in your honor. That is not surprising for someone who had the far-reaching impact that Meyera Oberndorf had. She was remembered at Virginia Beach City Hall today as the trailblazer. So many firsts to her name that she was.
Probably the most influential lady ever in Virginia Beach, and certainly the best public relations person we could have ever had.
Longtime Virginia Beach City Clerk Ruth Fraser started serving in 1978, 2 years after Meyera Oberndorf was on City Council.
no matter what her own personal feelings or problems were, she was always smiling and always making other people happy and trying to find how she could do something special for them.
Myra loved Oceana, the military, and she liked to do unusual things.
When the troops were in Desert Storm, she collected enough M&Ms to ship and got the ship to take them to the people. And many years later, probably 3 or 4 years later, a young Scottish girl came here and thanked her because she had the M&Ms that came from Virginia Beach.
When the Greek Fest riots rocked Virginia Beach, it was Mayor Meyera Oberndorf standing up to be the face of a city for the entire country and world.
She was very concerned about the citizens when that happened, and very concerned about our city and what the reputation would be throughout the world, because she was world-minded.
Longtime friend Drew Langford.
She understood Politics 101. Get out here, talk to the people, listen to what it is. Let them know you do care. And it was not a false image of caring. She cared. She wept, she hugged, she laughed, everybody.
Fraser, emotional, remembering an old friend.
It's difficult because Myra was a very strong woman, but she was soft at heart. She was a beautiful woman, but never thought of her beauty. She thought of what she could do for other people.
How about that M&M story?
Beautiful
The
tribute.
M&M story. When I heard that, when Ruth was telling me that, I couldn't believe it. She wanted to make Virginia Beach a worldwide community. She reached out globally and was very big in the Sister City program. And I mean, just an amazing woman.
Yeah, she really wasn't a politician to those of us who knew her. Like, you know, I'm a Kempsville kid. She was a Kempsville mom. And we really didn't think of like, oh, yeah, the mayor is like part of our
Like the mother of
community.
Virginia Beach, really. A lot of
She
people
was
remember
like
her
our
that
mother
way.
of Virginia
Yeah.
Beach. That's exactly what she was like. And Drew Langford talks about she knew Politics 101. Going out, retail politics. Nicole and I were in the newsroom yesterday and you said, Andy, look at this picture I have with Myra Oberndorf at her graduation. I mean, that's the way she
how to do
was.
it.
She reached out. And we've said it before, and I said it before. You know, politicians who are the incumbents, they have all the money. She didn't have all the money. She had the least amount of money because she didn't need it because people already knew her and they loved her, and it wasn't about money and politics with her. She was an extraordinary political candidate.
It was about fighting for the little guy, I think.
Fighting for reaching out and taking pictures with Nicole Livas.
Stop it.
I mean, it's things like that. It really is.
Yeah.
And tonight on WAVY News 10 at 6, her only political loss came against Will Sessoms. And I talked to him today, and he's very touched by her passing as well, and he's going to talk to us at 6 o'clock. And you know what? I did a Road Rebels with her many years ago, and I'm going to show you that too. She also had a tremendous sense of humor, and you'll see that coming up tonight on WAVY News.
She'd have to be with dealing with you,
That's
Andy.
true. But we're also going to share some comments from everyday folks too, and their stories are amazing. What their experiences with Myra.
She told me in the car. She said, "Andy, put on your seatbelt." I was in the back seat.
We'll wait at 6 o'clock. Can't wait to see the story.
Can't wait to see that, Andy.
Thank you. Well, one of the politicians who knew Myra best and worked with her the most was Norfolk's Mayor Paul Frayne.
We caught up with him a little while ago outside City Hall.
We worked together constantly. We only had differences on a few items, but for the most part, we were in sync. And she really understood that the role the region plays in the life of Virginia Beach and the role that Virginia Beach plays in the life of the region. She knows how important, she knew how important Virginia Beach's welfare was to how well the region performed.
She served her city for decades. More importantly, she loved everyone she met.
Tonight, Virginia Beach and much of Hampton Roads is remembering its legendary former mayor, Myra Oberndorf. Most people in Virginia Beach simply called her Myra.
But her impact across the city is quite evident, including the library that bears her name. Myra Oberndorf died this morning, several years after being diagnosed with Alzheimer's. From the 1960s all the way until the end of her political career in 2009, she tackled all of the city's big issues, at the same time never appearing to play the part of the typical politician.
We have team coverage of the passing of Virginia Beach's longest-serving mayor.
And we'll start things off with Andy Fox, who interviewed her countless times.
Many times, and she was always there, always available, and always caring, always cheering for Virginia Beach. For many years, former Mayor Meyera Oberndorf was Virginia Beach's loudest, most effective, most believable cheerleader. She began her rise as a library board member to Virginia Beach City Council for 12 years, became the city's first elected mayor, and became the longest-serving mayor for 20 years. November 5th, 2008 was her saddest political moment when she lost a hard-fought election campaign for mayor against Will Sessoms. It hurt her, it stung, yet there she was on election night, showing grace, class, dignity.
I have spoken to Will directly just a little while ago and very sincerely congratulated him.
And Sessoms realized how much Oberndorf still had to offer.
I also made clear that I wanted her to stay involved, and she's willing to stay involved. So I look forward to continue working with Meyera in the upcoming year.
In April 2009, Meyera, the gentle lady who served on the library board, was honored by having a city library named for her. In October 2012, her beloved husband Roger passed away. They had an amazing love for each other and were always together. He was often referred to as Mr. Mayor. But it was in July 2013 when we visited her, in the throes of Alzheimer's, our old friend still giving back.
It makes sense to me.
Promoting Project Lifesaver, a radio signal bracelet, tracking device in case those who are forgetful wander off, they can quickly be found. On that day, we asked Meyera what she does to help others with Alzheimer's and how she lives with it.
A group of people who were married to someone who had this problem. And I tried and tried, to see if I could overcome this problem. And I wanted to see how other people were handling it.
That's Meyera. Always helping, always learning, always giving. She was 74, a trailblazer, and Virginia Beach's dearest friend. I spoke today with Mayor Will Sessoms. He worked with Meyera 14 years on council, the last 10 as vice mayor, and she also spent time with us.
When we disagreed, she would look at me and, Will, why are you doing this?
Mayor Will Sessoms and Meyera Oberndorf had an interesting relationship that in the end was built on respect, even in times of political opposition.
I really wish that we hadn't have to run against each other. I wish that didn't have occurred.
But that election for mayor did occur and Sessoms won. Sessoms remembers 1989, the Greek Fest riots, and Meyera, the face of the city for the country and the world.
I don't think there's anyone that can represent the city of Virginia Beach as well publicly as Meyera. And the bottom line is she was open, honest, and people could see that.
Sessoms remembers a mayor who cared about the quality of life here, a safe environment, bringing more people and business to Virginia Beach.
If you sit back and look at the amphitheater, the 31st Street Hilton, Town Center, she was a vital part of all of that.
And on a personal note, I remember riding with her in a Road Rebel segment in 2006, an old friend, her laughter, sense of humor, she was real.
Have you put your seatbelt on?
No one is more of a cheerleader for Virginia Beach than Mayor Meyera Oberndorf. Do you tailgate?
No, I do not.
You always use your blinkers?
Yes. I don't get road rage.
How tall are you?
I'm 5 feet and shrinking.
And that was in 2006. What a wonderful mayor, person, and a friend. Meyera adored her father, Louis Ellenson. I am told he would tell her, if you really believe in it and it's right, never give up and never give in. Meyera Oberndorf did that for 74 years of life. Just a remarkable woman, and
Yeah.
we will never see her kind again.
And you certainly captured her personality right there.
There's a lot more to show
Yeah.
on that. And she had a great time doing it. I went back, I was looking at that report. It went 4 minutes. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
just a little bit.
Oh,
A
that's
great sense
great.
of humor.
Yeah.
She's just an incredible person.
Definitely. Thank you, Andy. Well, we talked to her oldest daughter, Marcy, earlier this week about her mother's legacy.
Every part of her life is a part of her, and even the way she was willing to come forward and talk about the Alzheimer's dementia, the way she was willing to come forward and talk about her breast cancer when she battled that. Again, back to her role in the new and growing and grown city of Virginia Beach to be forthright, to be firm, and to be willing to talk about the tough issues.
Marcy also said her mother had been a happy, wonderful person through the final stage of her life.